Let's talk a little Notre Dame as the Irish. They have the number 4 ranked class in America when it comes to 2026. And defensive lineman Elijah Golden, he was the latest massive addition to an already loaded class. We got some more 5 stars to talk about with Mike Singer at Blue and Gold. But first, Notre Dame fans, do me a favor. Hit subscribe to the best recruiting channel on all of YouTube. We love talking some Notre Dame recruiting. We're heading to the season, so jump on board and hit subscribe. All right, let's bring in Mike Singer of Blue and Gold. Now, Elijah Golden, he's the latest big addition, massive addition, but it kind of feels like Notre Dame just played their 18 holes and is walking off the course. Is Marcus Freeman really finished with this 2026 class?
Yes and no. Like, they could be. They have the number 4 class in the country, as you talked about, 27 commitments, 19 of those being 4 stars, and they have 1 5-star in Rodney Dunham. So they very well could be. But there's just something about the way that Notre Dame recruits under Marcus Freeman that says to me they're not going to be done. They're going to keep pushing the envelope, and they're going to see what else is out there in terms of some guys maybe really emerging as seniors that could be like committed to like a lower school that they want to flip, or maybe a little swing for the fences. There's nothing really that I know about right now, but there's just I think that is going to be something that develops maybe in like September.
All right, so let's turn the page to 2027 then, because Notre Dame has, so why shouldn't we? So Notre Dame, we're turning the page to 2027. Notre Dame already has their centerpiece in place. Quarterback Teddy Girardi committed about 2 weeks ago, right here on the Rivals Recruits channel. So what do you think, now that they got their quarterback in the boat, what do you think Notre Dame's biggest position need is when it comes to 2027?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's like a wrong answer to this question, but for me, talking about needs for Notre Dame recruiting, it's always going to be receiver. Like, I would have said, if you had asked me this like 3-4 years ago, I've been like, DB, like Notre Dame really needs to, sign more elite corners and safeties, because like we've seen on the national stage in like the Brian Kelly era, where it's like Notre Dame would get torched by your Alabamas or Clemsons on the outside. Well, Notre Dame's shored that up. Now they're recruiting quarterback at an elite level, so I'm not really getting on here to say quarterback. And of course, they have Girard committed, so it's receiver. Like, Notre Dame needs big time receiver talent, and this 2026 receiver class, I think, is their best in years. 2027, it's got a potential to they have the potential to sign some pretty good ones out there, but it's still pretty early.
All right, so who is the one recruit? Because we're getting 2027 coming into focus here. So who's the one recruit? Who would you say is like the must-get guy now that Teddy Girard's on board already? Who is that for Notre Dame fans?
Yeah, I'm sticking with their wide receivers, and it's Julius Jones Jr. from St. Thomas Aquinas in Fort Lauderdale. Notre Dame hasn't had much success at STA in a while. It's been several years since they landed a player out of that powerhouse school in South Florida. But Julius Jones Jr., his dad, obviously senior, played for Notre Dame at the running back spot about 25 years ago. And with this young man being like a top 100 type player, big time wide receiver prospect, I was just talking to a Notre Dame source the other day about the 27 class. First name that came off this person's lips was Julius Jones, an absolutely massive target for the Irish in the 27 class. His dad was a beast. And now Julius himself, I don't think he's been to Notre Dame, at least in a recruiting capacity. Maybe he went to a game as a kid or something like that, but he is looking to get to Notre Dame this fall. Like, his dad really wants to get him up to campus for like a night game. So whether that's the A&M game in September or the USC game in October, who knows, maybe both. Do expect Julius Jones to get to campus. Both of the Julius Jones, actually. So I do expect that to take place, and the Irish are going to be pushing for him very hard.
It was 20 years ago that his dad, you said 20 to 25 years ago.
Yeah, I think he wrapped it up around 2004, I want to say.
Yeah, maybe I would have said like 12 years ago, but okay. I take
Get
your
the
word
correct
for
stuff
it.
looking that up.
All right, so I don't want to be a wet blanket, but the last question I'm going to ask you is back to the 2026 class and this commit list. Is there anybody on the list that you think other teams are going to come after, those flip attempts? Now, not saying that they're going to flip, but anybody that Notre Dame's going to have to fend off?
Julius Jones, drafted in 2004, by the way, Josh. Wow. How about that? Yeah, I mean, just looking at the commit list, this is the thing. Like, this is Notre Dame's best class, I feel like. I mean, the 2022 class finished number 6. in the rivals industry ranking. But if you remember that class, that entire cycle, it was so top heavy with like A&M, Bama, and Georgia just like
Mm-hmm.
really cleaning up. So I think this 26 class is better than the 2022 class, but just looking up and down the list, there are I think other schools should be trying to flip like half of Notre Dame's class. They really should. Like that, you want top talent in your class if you're Notre Dame or Georgia or Ohio State or Bama, whoever you are, and you should be going after Notre Dame commits. Like all of these guys. So who would I be concerned about flipping? I mean, talking to sources on the Notre Dame side of things, of course, they're going to be optimistic and happy, but they do feel like this is the most locked in class that they've had under Marcus Freeman. Like, there's not, like, going in, like, this time last year, what are we talking about? Deuce Knight and, like, hey, this guy may be wavering, or this side of things that people don't really like talking about, maybe Notre Dame moves on from a couple kids, which they did in the 2025 class. But this year, Josh, there's not that, oh yeah, this kid's visited this other school, or hey, he may be looking around. There's no reports about any of that right now. Could that develop? Sure, but we don't know of anyone who's like actively looking to visit other programs. There's no one on Notre Dame's commit list where I'm like, oh yeah, the Irish could potentially want to part ways there. I mean, again, so I see like several of the ones of the top commits. I could see other schools trying to flip these guys like Joey O'Brien, Kari Adams, like even Elijah Golden, who just committed to the Irish. Like I could see Oklahoma or Bama continuing to push there, but I have no reason to think right now, as we record this in mid-August, that any of those guys are going to be interested in flipping.
All right, there it is, Notre Dame fans. Talk to Mike and I. Who do you think is your priority target for this 2027 cycle? Now that 2026 is almost over, let's turn the page. Tell me who it is.